You know you can sew buttons on with your sewing machine as well. Here's how we're going to do it. Using a zigzag, so letter B, set up the width to between 3 and 4 millimeters. It's really, it really doesn't matter what it is. It's very similar on all buttons, unless they're little tiny buttons or maybe a custom cut button. But the last thing I'm going to have you do is don't worry about the stitch length, because what we're going to do is drop the feed ducts or lower them down, the teeth that are underneath your foot. This lever right here, when you slide that to the right, they're going to lower. That means that nothing is going to pull this button through or move it while we're actually stitching. Now, just to note, when you go to raise these back up, they don't come up until you actually take a stitch. I'll often have people just go ahead and hand turn a stitch or just start to sew on some fabric. That will also return them to their up and sewing position. So I'm going to slide it again to the right side. You'll hear them lower down, and then we'll go ahead and bring this up. Now, when you do a zigzag, your needle's already hanging out on one side of the foot. So just go ahead and set a hole right underneath where that needle's going to come down. Move the button around if you need to. You'll need to move it a little bit more. Okay? We're still hitting. That's why we test, right? Okay, there's one swing. That's to the left side, and then go ahead and make sure it goes into the right side. Really just go ahead and stitch however many stitches, 8 or 10 or so, and then bring that needle right on up. Now, to lock those stitches, it'd probably be best to actually leave some extra thread tails and then flip it over and pull these threads to the back side. If you give it a little tug, you're going to find that top stitch. I'll just use my scissors here to kind of help pull it to the back side. We can pull one of those threads to the back, and then we can tie these off. Go ahead and tie a couple knots with your fingers here, tie them off, and then cut them straight. Another thing you can do, so they never come undone, is actually add a little fray check to the threads of your button, and they're for sure not going to come loose. And that's a great tip. If you just open up your closet doors, take some fray check and walk down all your shirts and pants that have buttons on them and put a little drop of fray check on them, you will never have to sew them on again.